Emotional Sheryl Swoopes drops a strong message on Caitlin Clark's $28 million Nike contract. In 1997, Sheryl Swoopes made history as the first woman to receive a Nike signature shoe, signing a $175,000 deal at a time when women's basketball was barely on the endorsement radar. Fast forward to today, and Caitlin Clark has shattered that ceiling with an 8-year, $28 million Nike contract, the richest in women's basketball history. Sheryl Swoopes has been vocal in her criticism of Caitlin Clark, but even she can't ignore the magnitude of this moment. For her to be Time Magazine Athlete of the Year, I think it's really great for the league, Swoopes admitted. The billion-dollar brands aren't just noticing, they're competing. And for Swoopes, watching this new era unfold has been nothing short of emotional. According to a recent episode of the podcast The Power of Knowing Who You Are with Sheryl Swoopes and Terrika Foster Brasby, the Hall of Famer couldn't hold back her emotions while reflecting on how far the game has come. So, I was telling Aya, in '97 when I signed with Nike didn't even have a women's sports marketing division. It was just like a here you go, here's the room, do what you gotta do with it, Swoopes recalled. And so what really excites me today about where we are is, it's not just the things that the women are getting on the court. You have all these women and brands who are saying we see you, we hear you, we need you. Swoopes, who was the first woman to ever receive a signature shoe from Nike, continued, so you have the Angel Reeses, the Caitlin Clarks, the Dejounte Carringtons, the Rickea Jacksons, the Ayas doing things that we only could dream of. And my very first Nike contract when I signed in '97 was like $175,000. The Iowa star turned Rookie of the Year, 2024, has agreed to an 8-year, $28 million contract with Nike that features a signature shoe that gives Clark the most lucrative reported shoe deal in women's basketball history. Christina Williams, the podcast guest, responded with amazement. $75,000?
Wow.
But Swoopes contrasted that moment with the present day, highlighting just how far the WNBA has come. Which then I was like, oh my God, I've made it right. And today to see a player like an Aya and a Caitlin Clark signing a $20 million contract. Yeah, like, I don't even know what to say about that because I never thought that I would see this day when we started the W back at '97, where we're sitting here actually talking about how far the game has come and these million-dollar contracts that female basketball players are now signing. Back in 1997, her groundbreaking Nike deal was worth $175,000, which lasted for 7 years from 1995 to 2002. Fast forward to today, and Caitlin Clark is cashing in on an 8-year, $28 million contract, securing the richest reported shoe deal in women's basketball history. Sheryl Swoopes paved the way, but even she never imagined this. That's what '97 to where we are today. That's what it was for us, she reflected. It was about being able to be in this moment and share in this moment with everything that women's basketball is experiencing today. And what a moment it is. Aya Wilson recently released her Aone, and her Nike extension of 6 years is among the most lucrative in women's basketball. Angel Reese is set to drop her own Reebok signature shoe in 2026, and Rickea Jackson made history as Skechers' first WNBA signee. Meanwhile, Sabrina Ionescu's $24 million Nike deal solidifies her place in the sneaker game. The landscape has changed. Women's basketball stars aren't just making history. They're cashing in on it. It might have been hard to come by a contract earlier in Swoopes' days, but now a $113.57 billion brand had to fight for a rookie's signature. Women's basketball has reached a new level of commercial success, and Caitlin Clark's historic Nike contract is the latest proof. But before she inked that record-breaking 8-year, $28 million deal, the biggest sneaker brands were in a high-stakes bidding war to land the game's most electrifying star. It was the 2024 NBA All-Star Weekend, and Caitlin Clark had just torched Michigan with a 49-point performance. At that moment, the biggest names in sneaker culture, Nike, Adidas, Puma, and Under Armour, all saw dollar signs. Even though Clark had yet to declare for the WNBA draft, brands weren't waiting. They wanted her locked in, whether she stayed at Iowa or turned pro. But when the offers hit the table, only 2 companies had a real shot at winning the Clark sweepstakes. Adidas pitched hard, offering a 4-year, $6 million deal with a custom prototype already in the works. Meanwhile, Under Armour pulled out all the stops, enlisting Stephen Curry's personal endorsement and offering $16 million over 4 years, plus a signature shoe. But in the end, it wasn't enough. Nike shut down the competition with a game-changing deal. 8 years, $28 million, the biggest ever for a women's basketball player. Initially, Clark's contract placed her as the face of the Kobe Bryant line, but after backlash from fans demanding her own signature shoe, Nike adjusted course. Now, Clark's custom-designed CC1S are finally in development, proving that in this new era of women's sports, the athletes and their fans are calling the shots. Swoopes' emotions reflect the broader narrative of women's basketball. A game that started as an afterthought in the endorsement world is now a multi-million-dollar industry with global influence. Clark's $28 million Nike deal isn't just a payday, it's a statement. It's proof that women's basketball is no longer just fighting for recognition, it's commanding it.